this Yechidus, we were discussing various matters about university life, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, the Rebbe said, what do the students in London University do about kosher food? So I said, well, at that time, this was 1970, they're rebuilding Hillel House. It'll be finished in October. This was January. It'll be finished in October, and then there will be facilities. So the Rebbe looked at me, a piercing look. He says, so tell me, until October, is it permissible to eat non-kosher food?
Und ich verstandig betewe kipschute in Chochme von Nefesh Abami. Aber der Tewe hodom hängt zog in Amidach Schuhe. Bejese und dem Inne von dem Malcholim und dem Maschke, was Rest und denkt. Und das Nase Damu Bosso Kipsore.
The Rebbe said, wouldn't it be a good idea to make a meal service and actively invite people to come and eat kosher food? So I got very enthusiastic and I warmed to the theme, and I said we could have lectures and guest speakers and be makarev, bring the people closer generally. The Rebbe held up his hand and said, that's very nice and it may be a good idea, but that's not what I have in mind. What I have in mind with this suggestion is purely that a Jewish boy should sit eating a kosher meal next to a Jewish girl rather than eating a non-kosher meal next to a non-Jewish girl.
Ich habe mir hilft zu reden wegen der Masse von Jadus, von wie man das Teile Kima Mitzes bekommt. Wie kommt es, dass gefühlt sich in der Samisch Fall am Masse? Wie mit Teil der Masse in Ziel, von mir sich zu sehen, ein als Borre ist. Aber wie bald einmal zugehört mit Teilig sein in die kashrus von Michael und Maschke, und das Leben gewinnt Chunas Benefesh,
we collaborated with one of the then major restaurants in London. They were delivering meals to 3 colleges. I think it was London School of Economics, King's College and Imperial College in London. But the service was a tremendous success.
I'm having trouble with my faith. Trouble with my faith, believing. I don't know how it works. More accuracy in your kashrus, your eating, that it will be according to Shulchan Aruch.
I do shik not to go out and seven minutes out and more than
Dat na praktycznie barra. Dat na praktycznie barra, dat do kosher essence, dat do eatings.
My wife had just given birth to our 3rd son, and she had very bad varicose veins. And the doctor said it was a very common procedure and a very simple procedure in a sense, that they strip the veins away, the varicose veins away, and your body replaces them automatically, and it takes away the pain and all the problems of varicose veins. So that's what the doctors told my wife that she should do. So I called and I spoke to, I think, Rabbi Groner, told him what the doctors had said. The Rebbe gave a bracha. She should go ahead and do as the doctor said, and that you should check into the kashrus of your home. I never mentioned anything about kashrus to the Rebbe. Just out of the blue, he said I should check into the kashrus of my home. Now, to understand what this was, from the time we got married, we always had a kosher home. She insisted, it was fine with me, but I didn't believe in it.
Und die was 4 Tonnen mit einem Huis, aber es kamen mit der Kitchen, mit der Beit Tafschil, geschah sie machlich, dass muss sein kosher, Michael und Maschke, konnten sie das Seitzfielen betachlich verschleimus. Eba Fieber der Bau, wie viel schon hat noch nicht bei der Tage von der Welt verstehen der Schivesador.
When we were in Texas, we had a very close group of friends, and we were constantly at each other's homes. And we had a rule in our house that whatever happened in the kitchen that Dina didn't know about didn't happen. We had this very expensive china and cast iron pots covered with enamel, and of course neither of these can be kosher. These were very expensive, thousands of dollars. We got them as wedding presents. And I didn't have the nerve to tell Dina that they really weren't kosher anymore. So because it came from the Rebbe, it gave me the strength, and I told Dina what had been going on in the kitchen. And we replaced them, we borrowed the money. We didn't have the money, we borrowed the money to buy new stuff. And now finally, thanks to the Rebbe, I was actually eating in a kosher home.
Rabbi, in the last about 2.5 years, I've got a pain in my body, like in my muscles, like a stiffness that moves around. I've been to doctors and the Abbesses to Duncan, they've said there's nothing wrong with this or that, but I still get the pains from time to time. Could I ask you as well, Rabbi, if you don't mind, if I could have a bracha for that? It's been about 2.5 years.
Probably you must do something about the kashrus, about the observing the laws of kashrus. Maybe there is something wrong with Chol Yisrael or Pas Yisrael. Certainly she is eating kosher because a good ma'achal mishteh negiv b'riyot u'nuchat ha'nefesh.
My health is not 100%, and the tests don't show it, you see. And I put so much like in the blessing that I can't find the right thing that matters.
Probably to add something is observation of the laws of kashrus in your house. That all the food and beverages will be strictly kosher. And all these things will bring a betterment in your condition.
When I was living in Forest Hills, there was a couple who lived next door to me, Persian couple, very nice people. One day, the lady came to me, her name is Mrs. Sachai, and she said that her husband was diagnosed by Yena Machla. There was a growth in his throat that was growing, and the doctor said there's nothing to do. We cannot even operate. It's too intricately intertwined, and they cannot do anything about it. And he has either 2 to 3 months left to live. And I told her, nonsense. Doctors aren't supposed to say when you die. They're supposed to help you. So let me take you to the Rebbe. She says, you don't understand, we're not religious. We eat everything, we don't keep Shabbos. We're not religious. We stood in the lobby of 770. The husband, the wife, myself. The Rebbe came out of his room, and he stood in front of the husband. He gave him a bracha for refuah shlema, for healing. And in the note that I asked a bracha for him, he answered me to tell him to keep the laws of kashrus biduk, to keep kosher exact. I had 2 Persian Bachrim who came. One was Rabbi Elulia and one was Rabbi Rabini. Came and kashered their homes. They started keeping everything, meat, milk separately, everything you can imagine. Miracle of miracles. 30 years went by. The tumor went away by itself. The doctors couldn't understand. How can this be? Because it just went away by itself.
My brother and my partner Reuven and his wife have just made it their home kosher. Do you have a message for them, Rabbi?
The message is that for every good thing that he is doing, the God Almighty will need to be in that, and he will reward him.